than the equivalent Golf. And if you ask me, the Golf is already too expensive. Now, the price would be okay if the 1.6 petrol was every car you'd ever need. But it isn't, because it's got one big problem. It's just too slow. 0 to 60 takes over 10 seconds. And if you really want to enjoy a car like this, you really need one with a bit more grunt. This, for example, it's the 1.8 diesel version. It does have more power and it is quicker. But predictably, it also costs more. With the aircon and the alloys, this model works out at £19,300. Which means, in the real world, the cheapest 1 Series you can get away with is almost £20,000. The whole thing is getting slightly depressing. Now, for this sort of money, I would expect perfection, and the 1 Series, I'm afraid, is not perfect. The back seat, for example, is a bit cramped. The boot is not that big, and some of the interior materials, as we've seen on a couple of BMWs lately, are very slightly second-rate. Some of these plastics, for example. And then there's the ride. Now, this car comes as standard with run-flat tyres. You don't get a choice about that. And they're very stiff, and they make the ride very fidgety. It's a trait that's infecting almost all BMWs these days. I ended up frustrated. This is a good-looking car. It has character, and I love driving it. But while all that might be great on a Welsh mountain road, in the real world of kids, shopping and commuting, I suspect the 1 Series just isn't going to add up.
Now, let's have a look at the key points of the 1 Series in a way that its junior management clientele will understand, with a flip chart. OK, here we go. We've prepared it all.
So we're going to sort of, we're going to run it up the flagpole, are we, and see which way it blows.
That's right.
Yeah.
See what sticks. Handling, what do we think?
Well, I think it's got a can-do attitude, very go-ahead.
Yeah, so, and I quite like a bit slow, but it handles OK. Yeah. Styling?
Very blue sky, yeah, I like it.
Blue sky, that's a tick for you, and I hate it. I think it looks revolting.
Right, yeah.
Price?
Well, you see, I just don't think it's competitive in a retail high street environment.
No, OK, so that's a cross for you.
Yep.
And do you know how much you can spend on one of these? 32,000 quid if you spec it up. £32,000 for basically a Golf, so that's a huge no. Ride comfort?
Yeah, I think there are serious optimisation issues with ride comfort.
No. Trim?
Yeah, it fails to meet targets vis-à-vis interior plastics quality.